One of the biggest e-commerce categories in the world is the fashion category. Last year on Shopify alone, fashion stores did $760 billion in revenue. And in today's video, we're going to be breaking down the hottest or one of the hottest fashion stores in e-commerce right now that is absolutely blowing up. They're worth over $4 billion, estimated to be doing $500 million a year or so. And they're doing something quite interesting that you need to know about. So we're going to dissect everything about this brand in a very concise way so that you don't get overwhelmed. I have a lot of data on their comments. I have a lot of data on their traffic and just overall fashion trends for those of you that are in the fashion space. Also, we'll take a look at some of their ads because this is one of the main ways that they're driving a ton of traffic to their store. So the store is called Quince, and they're a California-based luxury brand. Actually, they're positioning themselves as a luxury alternative for an inexpensive price. And if we take a look in 2022, they did about 140 million in revenue, but now, they've continuously increased that revenue. In 2024, they did 340 million. And again, these guys, we know that the fashion niche is so massive, and these guys are actually following a pretty insane trajectory. Now, they did raise money. So this is one of the things that I wanted to highlight is in order to grow this fast, you almost always will need to raise money for something like this. I actually got the idea to look at this brand from Drew Fallon here on Twitter, and he kind of talked about how they've raised over $400 million, which is seriously insane. Now, what's interesting to me though is that this is a fashion brand, right? So you'd think the brands raising this kind of money are all tech brands, but in reality there are special pockets of e-commerce where you can raise this kind of capital, and these guys are a perfect example of that. But we're going to dive into their best sellers because we want to see what products are actually selling the best for them. Their store personally is a little weird. It's a little clunky to me. They're not using Shopify. I actually checked through the Shopee Lab software. No Shopify here, unfortunately. But if we take a look at some of their best sellers, we can see, interestingly enough, they have a mix of things that are selling well. So one of the things that's selling really well for them is these linen pants, and they named it 100% European linen pants, and then bamboo sheet sets. This is really good for those of you that are looking to start brands potentially. This definitely gives you an idea of what you could be selling right now. And that's the cool thing about fashion is that there's literally always trends emerging in fashion, and there's always some that you can take advantage of, like Pilates outfits, for example. You could start selling Pilates outfits. But as you see here, their entire premise is this idea that you're getting really expensive products for really cheap, which is kind of it's a good value proposition, right? Because everybody wants status, and the reason why you'd want luxury goods is primarily for status. Of course, a lot of people want really high quality stuff too, and good materials. That's another very big thing that's happening now is people want the best materials. They don't want toxic chemicals in their clothes, in their food. So they're willing to explore new options in those categories. And if they can get it at a really good price, then that's kind of a no-brainer offer for people, right? And that's what they're capitalizing on. Now, one really interesting thing, and honestly one of the main reasons I wanted to share this with you, is because one of the innovations, which is actually not really an innovation at all if you really think about it, is that they ship directly from their manufacturer. So this is how they're able to do this, guys. They are drop shipping their products directly from their manufacturer. So as you see, they call it a manufacturer to consumer model. And this model eliminates the brand as an intermediary, sourcing directly from factories, mills, and raw material producers, allowing Quince to offer high quality goods at low prices. This has been done before, guys. This is not a new thing. There's another brand called Italic that does the same exact thing, but they do it at a lower scale, most likely because they didn't raise the same amount of capital. Who knows, right? There's a million reasons why these guys are winning, but that's what's very interesting to me. Made with care in Shenzhen, China, and Vietnam. So even though they call it a European linen pant, they are made in China, and not only are they made in China, they are also shipped from China. That's super interesting, and it's kind of something worth noting, especially for those of you that are looking to launch your brand and you're worried that e-commerce is a very expensive business. It is. But one of the big hacks that you can use in order to be more cash flow positive is to ship directly from your manufacturer. If you're selling specialty goods, it's actually fine, especially from a brand like this. It's actually fine for people to wait a little bit longer to receive products, and you can source. Well, actually, this is kind of interesting right now with the tariffs and whatnot. But believe it or not, even without the de minimis rule in effect, which made it so that you can't ship products like Temu, for example, is not going to be able to ship products like they used to because it's more expensive now. It's still pretty cheap to ship from China. Like you can probably ship something like this for $10 and it probably costs them, let's say, 5 to produce. So they're still earning a pretty significant margin on something like this, most likely. Of course, we don't know that, right? I'm speculating a lot here, but they are driving a lot of traffic. Let's actually now kind of look at some of their traffic and marketing that they're doing, because you can see they keep everything super congruent. I love their site. I really love what they're doing personally, and I know this sounds crazy, but I do think it's an accessible market, right? They're really crushing it, but they just have really amazing branding, a really great positioning. Like they have very good positioning, and of course, amazing product ideas. They're coming out with products that are very trending, right? That are super in demand right now, and then they're doing it in a super simple way where they're comparing it to what other people price theirs at, and they're saying we use the same organic bamboo. They don't even use organic bamboo. You can return it for 365 days. A lot of huge claims here. I don't know what the future holds for this brand, right? We don't know what sort of profit they could be doing on that $400-500 million worth of revenue. My guess is they're actually burning a ton of cash, and that's why they're raising so much money. This is a scary model, but you can apply all of this to your own business, right? Like, again, shipping directly from your manufacturer, keeping a very congruent brand image, really good branding, and then, of course, having just a really good idea for positioning, and then of course testing trending products that are in demand. It's just a good idea to introduce into your brand. Now, one of the things I wanted to showcase is that they do run a ton of meta ads, right? They have 1,300 different active results in the US. Most of their traffic is from the US, like literally 97% of their traffic is from the US, which personally I feel like is a missed opportunity since they are shipping from their manufacturer. Why would they not just ship worldwide, right? Why would they not also try to target other markets? And perhaps that's something that they'll work on here. I do want to actually confirm that they ship from their manufacturer. They say they do, but oh yeah, this is one of the interesting things that some fashion brands do is they have like an infinity scroll of related products. But let's see if we can go shipping and returns. So standard shipping is free, and typically it takes 6 to 9 business days. So they are absolutely shipping directly from China. Yeah, unfortunately, they don't ship outside of the US. That's super interesting. And then furniture is delivered via free white glove service, which includes placement in your room. Wow. I mean, they're providing a super cool service. Once your furniture order has shipped from one of our factories, you'll receive an email with tracking information and detailed instructions. Okay. And then you also receive an email and phone call for a white glove carrier asking you to schedule a date and 4-hour delivery window. I see. Wow, a little bit of a complicated system there that they got going on. But that's kind of what gives them a moat, right? Because there's a lot of people selling fashion, as we saw by this data here. But their moat is that they're just kind of going above and beyond on their customer service. So one thing I wanted to highlight is a lot of their meta ads are super simple. Very, very simple. And where they're actually, this is pretty interesting, right? Because a lot of people don't test what they're testing. So a lot of people are testing a variety of different, like very big swings in terms of creative diversity on Meta, whereas they're actually getting very granular. They're going the opposite route. They're literally just testing different headlines or body text, right? Different body text, which is super interesting. It's all the same image, but this one says competitors marked it down. We never marked it up. Our price, their sales price. And then here's like a few reviews. So pretty interesting, right? They're going a little bit of a different approach. Ever wonder why luxury products are so expensive? At Quince, they don't have to be. We connect you directly with the factories that make for the world's leading luxury brands and deliver the highest quality products to you at insanely low price. Wow. Let's see what kind
You're
of
not going
UGC they're using. So this says, you're not going to
to believe
believe
how much this leather jacket is.
is.
Any other brand out there is like 3 to 4 times as much. It's buttery soft and it's made from top.
So yeah, they're really going after that angle, just super heavily going after we are pricing less for the same quality of goods, which is interesting. Let's see. Here's another one. This one is 17 seconds long. The 24/7 Smart Chino with 1,000 reviews. Designed to look like a dress pant and feel like sweats. Featuring 4-way stretch fabric, all-day comfort. These pants are wrinkle-resistant, spill-proof, and less than $60. Perfect for any occasion. Work, day, night, golf. That's good. I like this, that they got specific on the occasions. Date, night, golf. They're like really targeting the specific avatar that they want. Here, like bonobos, but half the price. So yeah, super heavy into the price anchoring. Very interesting. Now, one thing though I wanted to showcase is when you're scaling this fast, a lot of things break, and believe it or not, even pages like this that have all this funding are not replying to all their page posts or page comments. It's always super interesting to me that this happens. It's a little bizarre because I believe that they just don't know. I mean, it actually isn't bizarre. It's pretty understandable because a lot of brands struggle with this, because when you're scaling with meta ads, meta doesn't make it very simple for you to actually reply to comments. A lot of times they make it very difficult to find the posts and where people are commenting, but Smart Reply literally handles all of that 24/7. But what I wanted to show you here is this free tool. I mean, I use this all the time in these videos. It's a comment analysis tool because it gives you a good idea of how people actually feel about the brand. And believe it or not, they actually get a pretty good mix of results. So they have a lot of positive comments. A lot of people actually really do love them. Love my sheets and blanket. Unfortunately, my blanket got messed up on the second wash. Oops. I love this so much, but I can't buy this type of publicity. She should blah, blah, blah. Okay, thank you. So people do like it. But a lot of people actually are complaining as well. So this is always what's going to happen. But I think it's a good exercise to look at what people are saying negatively about a brand, because first of all, it kind of lifts the curtain on some of these brands where you think they just have it all figured out, but when in reality, they don't. They make mistakes just like any other brand. And I think this actually prevents a lot of people from starting their business, and it shouldn't, right? I think at the beginning of your business is when you have the biggest excuse to mess things up, because you're just getting things started. You know, your product doesn't have to be perfect in quality. It doesn't have to ship perfectly. It's much better to actually figure out a problem that you're solving, a high demand product, and just try to really crack distribution, right, through meta ads or, you know, organic content or whatever it is, whatever approach you want to take. But yeah, some people are saying they have buyer's remorse. They're saying that it's actually not worth the price, even though they're going after this, like, you know, they're saying it's lower price for what it is, but some people still don't think it's worth the price. So some people still think it's too expensive. And that's actually, in my opinion, the problem with this niche, is that when you're using this price anchoring for luxury goods, right, you're actually still getting people that are looking for cheap products. And these people, you know, they're just not going to be necessarily the best people to appeal to with luxury goods. At least that's where my head is at, right? There's like a cognitive dissonance there, where personally, I would kind of rather just have a expensive store, a luxury store, like just luxury goods. It's probably way more profitable. The customers that shop there are probably much better. And that's what would be scary for me with this kind of business. But nevertheless, it's of course working extremely well. So, you know, who am I to judge, right? I'm not judging. I actually think it is a smart idea. It's just really, really difficult. And you can see people are saying things like, you know, today I received garbage trash, cheap thin polyester after ordering a cotton coverlay and shams. Do not trust this site. I've been a fan of Quince this year and last winter. However, in the last 2 weeks, sizing has become very uneven. Glad I bought what I did before that. If sizes continue to be inaccurate, I will stop getting stuff from Quince. Anyone else notice that recently? Yeah. So That's kind of what it is. And actually, they have one more thing that people that sheds some light on how aggressive they are with their marketing. I love my linen bedding, but I'm sick of getting text messages at least 2 a day and can't unsubscribe. Wow. So they are really going crazy with getting people to shop again and again. My guess is that they give insane discounts to their existing customers. And because of that, they get people to shop over and over again, but it's exclusively to customers, right? So that way they can spend more on acquiring customers. This is actually the key to scaling meta ads, believe it or not. So we do have a calculator here in the Shopee Lab dashboard that measures your LTV to CAC ratio, which is pretty important. That's probably what they're using in order to scale to this level. They're probably overspending on meta ads, but going super aggressive on email and SMS to their existing customers to increase the lifetime customer value of their customer. That way, it doesn't matter if their cost to acquire a customer is very high because they're continuously increasing the lifetime customer value. That's the game with fashion. And it's super interesting to me. Now, if you're wondering what all this stuff is, this is my software. It's called ShopeeLab.ai, and we do have also an accelerator community that you can join that attaches to this. So you can just connect your Discord in the account section here, and you can join the accelerator. We do a weekly call in there. We help people scale their brands. This month alone, we've had people reach their first 1K day, their first 30K day, and their first 100K day. It's an incredible community, super data driven. You guys probably at this point know me as the data guy because I just love looking at all this data and brainstorming and just talking about ideas and helping people. It's super fun for me. So hopefully you've enjoyed this. Hopefully you've enjoyed this video and gotten some juicy ideas out of it. And that's pretty much about it. I'll see you in the next one. Peace.